Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's Daily Dose of Awesome, your 15 minutes of motivation, inspiration, and education brought to you by Elite Marketing Pro. My name is Vitaly, and I am your host for today. And let me see, just want to make sure we are live and that we have people popping on. Yes, we do. Looks like we are live, and looks like we got already a couple people on. Great. So as you guys are coming in, feel free to say something in the comments where you're coming in from. And hopefully you guys are having great weather. I'm in Michigan, and actually it was snowing this morning, which is highly unusual for April. But it's been kind of a weird and interesting winter. So, anyways, looks like we got more people popping on. It's great. Hey, Tracy, Angel, Melinda, Katrina. Good to see you guys. Hi, Marilyn. So today we're going to talk about a topic that's something that I've used for many years in my old business, and I still use it today in my communication and the marketing that I use. But this is especially effective in face-to-face selling. Back when I was in the direct sales business on a full-time basis, this has helped me tremendously. So if you're dealing with people face-to-face or over the phone on a Zoom call, this is going to come in really handy. I think you're going to find this extremely valuable. But you could also incorporate this, as I'm going to talk to you about how you can incorporate this into your marketing. And so the topic is how to speak your prospect 4 different languages. So this is something I learned many years ago from a guy named Jim Hoyt, and basically talks about, he taught me how to understand different personality types. Now, there's a lot of personality training out there. There are books that are written on it, on this topic, and I'm certainly no expert at it, but this is a system that I've learned many years ago that is very simple. It's very easy to remember, and it's not something that you have to, I mean, you could sit there and study for a long time, but it's something you can implement immediately once you grasp the basics, which my hope is that I can convey these basics to you today. And so the 4 personality types that we're going to discuss today, and I'm just looking at, Tracy says lots of snow there. Yes, we don't have a lot of snow, but it was snowing today. But the 4 personality types that we're going to discuss, they have an acronym of STAR, STAR, very easy to remember. So if you guys are watching this at home, you may want to take notes, or if you're not, maybe you're going to catch the replay of this. I would encourage you to take notes and write this down because, again, this is going to come in handy, and I think you're going to find it super valuable in communicating with people. And the idea here is that, everybody doesn't have the same goals and the same dreams and the same desires as you do. And certainly everybody doesn't speak the same language that you do. You may be talking to them in English, but that doesn't mean that what's important to you is important to them. And so understanding different personalities and understanding what moves people and what drives different people is what's going to help you to be more effective in your communication, especially when you're dealing with people that are not like you, as you're about to see. So let's jump into it. So STAR, S-T-A-R. So S stands for stability. So these people are basically structure-oriented. They're systems-oriented people. They are your accountants. A lot of lawyers fall into that category. Teachers, police officers. People that fall into this category, they like rules and stability, obviously, for S. They like structure. They like order. They like organization. Back when I remember when I first learned this, when I would sit down with people in their homes, and if I come into the house and I see that everything is in order, everything's very neat, and I would ask, and I was in the financial services business, and when we got talking about their situation, if they were to bring out their folders and everything was neatly organized, I knew immediately I was talking to a stability type person because they're very neat and very organized. And so with these people, they want to know if what you have is legit, because they follow the rules and they follow order. And so if you're not like that, because I'm certainly not, there are parts of me that are like that, but I'm mostly not like that. That's not my nature. That's not my dominant trait. Until I learned this, it was hard for me to relate with these people and get these people to relate to what I was saying, because I would talk about how much money you can make and how big the company is and talk about the vision and the bigness of it. But that's not what drives Usually, that's not what drives stability type people. What drives them is this legit? Do you have proof? Do you have facts? Is there a track record? These are the kind of things that you want to incorporate into your message and talk about when you're dealing with a stability type person. Now, the second type person, the T, stands for, and I'm just checking the comments here, the T stands for theory. These people are your technical people, engineers, computer programmers. They thrive on details. They love analytics. They love problem solving. And so they like to overanalyze everything. And sometimes, if you're an engineer, a lot of engineers have problems initially in our business because they like to overanalyze things, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you're not an engineer type person, if you're not a technical type person, and you're dealing with a T, you're dealing with a technical type person, you're speaking two different languages. They don't, money may drive them or it may not drive them, but details drive them. Technical stuff drives them. The ability to overcome and solve problems, that's what drives them. That's what they want to know. Is this technical? Does it make sense? Is it logical? Is it rational? If you're going to show something to a technical person, they want to see the proof behind it, and they want to make sure that it makes sense and that it's logical and that it's rational. And if your message doesn't contain that element of it, it's not going to attract your theory type and technical type people. All right, so that's the T. And then, of course, we have A, which stands for A-type personalities, action-oriented people. A is for action. These people are your typical entrepreneurs, A personality type people, go-getters. They thrive on freedom. They thrive on action. They are your ready, fire, aim type people. Okay, they may not necessarily be interested in the details, but they like freedom, and they want to make sure that they can make money, and it's going to there are goals, big goals that they can go and achieve. And so that's the kind of stuff that you want to talk to these people about, and make sure that you have that element in your message. So again, for me, like, I'm an A-type personality. That's not it's my dominant trait, but it's not my only trait. So, well, when I was talking to people who are like that, action-oriented people, it was very easy for me to communicate with these people because we spoke the same language. But when I spoke to people who are stability type people, initially it was not easy for me to communicate with them because I didn't understand why couldn't they see what I was saying. Like, look, you can make all this money and you can do this. Yeah, they didn't understand it because they needed to hear something else. Okay, so I hope that's the takeaway that I want you to understand here, is that you may have one dominant personality trait, but you're dealing with people who have other dominant personality traits. And so lastly, there's the R, which stands for relationship. These people, they thrive on relationships. They like people. They are very empathetical. They like helping people. Money's definitely not their biggest motivator. Helping people is their biggest motivator. Being around other people is their biggest motivator. And so they want to make sure that what you're doing is good and that there's harmony and that it helps people. And so when you incorporate that kind of language into your message, you're attracting those people. So you got S for stability, systems, structure, T for theory, technical type people, A for action people, go-getters, entrepreneurs, and then R for relationship type people. So what do you do with all of this, right? So okay, you got these basics down. What do you do with all of this? Well, first of all, what's important to understand is that this is not exact science. Like, nobody or very few people fall into just one category. You can't just label somebody, well, they're definitely an A, but they're none of the other things. We all have, usually, like most people, have all four of these. It's just that for most of us, probably for all of us, one of these or two of these are the most dominant. Sometimes one is clearly the dominant one, and sometimes it's two different things. Like, I know with me over the years, I've noticed that I'm an A-type personality. I'm an action-oriented person, but I also come from a family of engineers. My dad was an engineer and a computer programmer. My mom was a computer programmer. Both my grandparents were, my grandfathers were engineers. So I come from that environment, even though I'm not one, but I do have a lot of T in me. Like, I like technical stuff. I like problem solving. I like details. And so that's not my most dominant trait, but it's up there very close to an A. And so that's who I am. But I also understand that when I'm dealing with people who are S and R's, I have to talk a different language. And so when you're, I'm going to kind of switch back and forth between working with people one-on-one versus working with people online. When you're working one-on-one, let's say you have a Zoom call, just by hearing this person and the language that they use, you can quickly, when you pay attention, you can quickly size up what their dominant trait is if you pay attention, like based on what they're saying, based on what their objectives are. And you can tailor what you're talking about in your presentation based on their personality, based on the feedback that you're getting. Okay, so that's pretty simple to do once you're aware of this. However, when you're writing an email or a blog post, or you're putting together a video, you don't really know who you're dealing with. So what's important to understand is that by including elements from all four of these traits, you're going to be hitting different types of people. So if you're talking about helping people and harmony and just empathy, that's going to immediately resonate with relationship type people. If you talk about structure, if you talk about systems, if you talk about dependability, you're going to resonate with stability type people. And so as you look over this list, just bear in mind first of all, what's important to you so that you can understand where you're coming from and why maybe sometimes it's hard for you to understand why other people don't get you, but also understand that there are a lot of other people out there who are not like you, okay, and that they have other personality traits. And so the question is, how are you going to relate to them? And that's what I'm talking about today, is incorporating different elements, different language. Basically, you can say the same thing, but use different words that turn one person on and the other person off. And so by using all these different elements, you can make your message a lot more effective with all personality types. And I found personally that by using this both with online and offline especially, but online as well, my message became a lot more clear. It became a lot more effective, and it resonates with a lot more people because I'm hitting all personality types, or at least I try to. So hopefully this makes sense. I hope you put this to use. And one last thing I'll say is that this is not something that you just snap your fingers and immediately you can bond with all personalities and resonate with and have all personalities resonate with your message. This is something that you, like any other skill, have to work at. But if you just keep this little cheat sheet, STAR, next to your computer monitor when you're writing your message, just think about it. Just think about how, when you're done writing your message, your blog post, your email, your ad, or maybe putting together a script for a video, just think about how could you incorporate a little bit more of each of these personalities into your message so that it can be more inclusive. When you do this for a period of time, what's going to happen is initially you're going to have to consciously do this, and it's going to become a little bit more mechanical, right? Because you're consciously taking the effort to put this together. But over time, as you do it more and more and more, it's going to become like any other skill, automatic, and you're going to be doing it on an unconscious basis, where you're going to be writing your message or talking, and you're going to automatically include things that may not be as important to you, but are important to other people. So work at it, put some time into it. It will definitely pay off. I promise you that. And so that's all I got for you guys. Let me just take a quick look at the comments. Paul's saying, boom, A all the way. That's right. A lot of entrepreneurs are A's, that's for sure. But don't exclude other people, because not everybody is immediately a go-getter. So just make sure that you include other attributes into your message to attract other personalities. All right, guys? Perfect. Well, thanks for joining me today. I hope you got a lot of value, and I look forward to seeing you next time. All right? Take care, everybody.